Hi everyone, welcome back. Happy New Year's, it's New Year's Day. I'm just warming up the old Ninja there. Not got much to do today. I got the rear stickers turned up for the thunderace. That's what they look like. That's roughly where they'll go, there or maybe up there. I'm not sure yet, I'm going to work on that in a bit. But the main thing I want to try and do today is somehow set up a camera and take these bikes for a run so that you get an idea of what these bikes run and ride like. Now I tried to do it the other day, excuse me, using a chest harness, but because you're leaning forward on these bikes, you just see nothing. It looks terrible. So I'm trying now with a helmet cam. So we're going to give that a shot, and then when I get back I'll be putting on the last couple of stickers. I'll actually show you how to do it this time, not that it's anything special. And yeah, we'll see how this goes today. So we've done 2 runs on them 2. Here's the Big Daddy. Let's warm it up. If it starts. This bike takes a long time to warm up. It takes a few minutes to really get its kind of stride going. While it's warming up, let's talk about this sticker. So, that's the sticker there, it is gold. The options are in there like that. That could look quite good actually, or we can go on here. I don't like it down there, it needs to be back here. I think that's the best spot for this one. Oh, hear it warming up. So we'll see what where I end up with them stickers in the end. But let's try and get this out for a run. Let's do the same thing. I'm hoping these come out okay. They may not. I can't see what I'm filming, so it's just pot luck at this stage. Right, let's see how this one turns out. I've got the camera tilted up quite far because it leans really forward, this bike. And I'm going to see if that works. Of course it stalled. Why wouldn't it? So I need to do a couple of things on this bike. I need to raise the idle. I need to find that. So I'm going to have to pop the tank off again at some point. And I'm wondering if it's starving of fuel a little bit. I'm wondering if I've pinched the fuel hoses again or they're just not as straight as they should be. So that's the two things I'm going to be looking at soon. I mean, it's a very slow bike to warm up. If I took it out for another 10 minutes there, it would have got into its stride. But I just feel like it should be warming up a bit quicker, and there may be a tiny bit of fuel starvation there. So we'll have to wait and see. Let me get these stickers out and look at putting them on. So the first thing I'm going to do anyway is I'm going to figure out what placement I want for these stickers. That's the first thing. I think that's the way to go, and that will work on the other side as well. Or should it be that this line here is on the bottom? I doubt it matters. I'm going to go top, so I'm going to go that one there. First thing we're going to do before putting a sticker on anyway is I'm going to prep the area with some brake cleaner. Brake cleaner gets rid of solvents and waxes and stuff like that. So, and I know I've waxed this bike and we've done it on camera, so we have to kind of melt that away to be able to then stick this on. So I've helped it with the microfiber, but for this last spray, I'm going to let it disintegrate itself. When I think that's dry, I'm going to start looking at the sticker. So this is how the stickers come. First thing we need to do is peel away the backing, and we'll have the sticker on the front then. This can be temperamental. We need the sticker on this part, so quite slowly. We don't want it peeling off and staying on the other side, and we're going to have the same kind of issues in a minute when we want to peel this off the panel as well. This is quite a straightforward sticker, so it should be fairly straightforward to do anyway. So at this stage you're basically tracing the sticker, that's all you're doing. I've kind of followed the curves of the bike in regards to the placement. So yeah, I mean it will always look a bit weird because of the curves of the bike, but it should come out quite nice. Now in a minute we should just take our time to peel this off. Sometimes the sticker underneath will try and come up as well. It's a right pain. You just have to get your thumb under there or get your finger under there and keep it down. Let's have a look. So that was a good sticker overall. It came off easily enough. I quite like it. I don't hate it. I like the way the gold kind of ties in bits and pieces and just kind of makes it a full bike again. I'll do the same thing on the other side. See that you've got to make sure it stays on there. So well, we was about out there. Where did we end? Just past the indicator we ended, so kind of like here. And we trace the sticker with our finger, making sure it's all stuck down. That's but you see it wants to come up with the peeling, so you have to work out how to kind of hold it. It's hard to see that side because of the lean of the bike. Yeah, I think it's alright. It does just about enough to make it look like a proper bike. I'll have that tank cover coming in a week or two. It'll just blacken out the tank. It's a black leather cover. And then this bike will be sorted. Like I said, I'm going to pop off the tank at some point and check if it's starving of fuel or not. I might just renew the fuel. Oh god, I might just the fuel tubes. I've got spare here anyway. I did a similar thing on the ZX yesterday, so why not? But yeah, I hope the riding footage came out okay today. I'd like to do more of that, you know, show people how the bikes ride and run, and then you can hear if anything's clanking or clonking or if the engine sounds bad. You could hear on the thunderace that it felt like it was slightly starving off fuel, so that's something that we learned just through filming and riding and hearing. The Ninja runs beautifully. It's a lovely bike. That I actually took the petrol pump off yesterday and serviced it because it wasn't starting as well as I liked, and when I tested the fuel pump it wasn't pumping out much. Basically they use a point system in there, a contact system. It just needed cleaning, and then it starts beautifully. If you remember last time when we started this bike, you used to have to crank it and crank it. Now it's one turn, fire it up straight away. So the fuel pump needed a good clean. So that bike's ready to go. Someone might be buying this tomorrow actually. They may be picking it up. They've been talking to me for a couple of weeks now. They realise how good of a deal it is. It's about £900, £950, full service history in this condition. So they're getting a right steal actually, because in 3 months, around April, 12 to 1500 I think I'd get for it. It just all works and does what it needs to do. Anyway, that's it for today. Quick video, and we'll see how the rides came out. Okay, so all I've done is disconnected the one hose that went up into the carbs. There's one hose that goes up into the carbs over here, right here actually. That's all I've done. I've disconnected this. Now There's two things that can go wrong with a fuel pump. There's actually three things. There's the actual motor inside here can go, and then there's a point system in the top that needs cleaning every now and again, because it's a contacting system, on and off, metal on metal. If it gets corroded, it makes less of a good contact. That's what I cleaned on the Ninja yesterday. And then there's a relay. You follow the wires back and there's a relay somewhere that helps that happen. So the first thing we can test is if the fuel pump works. Some bikes will prime on ignition. They don't all do that. The Ninja didn't, so I could turn this on and it could pump a little bit anyway. Let's have a look. There you go. So we know that that fuel pump's working. If you want to be really technical, you can check the exact pressures, how much is coming out, how long it's taking. But if it's pumping some fuel, it's pumping some fuel. If it was really trickling, then you'd look at a new fuel pump. And they're fairly cheap, 40-50 quid for originals on eBay or from, you know, your dealership. You can buy aftermarket ones. They're not great. They don't last very long. It's the same as everything on bikes. You buy cheap, you buy twice. I know I buy a lot of the cheaper lights and stuff, but I'm so good with them now that I replace everything basically. I replace the bulbs with better ones, and if the wiring goes funny, I'll replace it. But yeah, fuel pumps, you should stick to the original, and you should get another 60,000 miles out of it, or whatever you've got. We've got 45 and it's still running fine. So from here, I'm going to cut off a length of this, probably where that is actually, using a little hacksaw, and then we're going to go back on and see how straight it is. So if we look, I've taken off that much. This is about an inch or so, and it's still, a tiny bit more can come off, I think, for convenience. This is going to be sitting down here. I'm going to take a bit of this one off as well, just to minimize any travel that the fuel has to do. So a little bit more of this. This will be sitting here. Maybe, yeah, a little bit more, maybe to there, just to kind of straighten it up a touch more. And then a little bit off here, just because the extra travel is unnecessary, and we should be good to go. So that's much better. Look at the distance. We saw how well it pumps. We're minimizing any kind of turning and flexing in there, so it doesn't have to go a weird route. Yep, I'm going to chop a little bit off this just to kind of here reconnect it, so that when it sits, it's got, again, that little less room to travel. These big 1000cc's are thirsty. They need good fueling. They need constant fuel. So it's worth having a look at this stuff and seeing how it goes. Right, tiny bit off there. And then I'll seat this all back down, test it, and we'll see how it goes. So there you go. That's all I took off that one. But if you see how it lifts that a little bit, once we push it all back down, it should have a much straighter route for the fuel to travel. Right, that's what I'm going to do. I'll button this up, put it all down, and we'll see if it goes a little bit better. So I think that'll be okay now. I've actually buttoned it up. I've put the bolts back in. However, when you've messed with the fueling system, what you really have to do is fire it up again, or at least prime it like we saw earlier. And then have a look for any spills. Have a listen. Any drops? No. So that should be absolutely fine. I'm going to warm the bike up in a minute and take it for another spin. I'll try and record it again. I don't know how any of them are coming out yet until I watch them later. But I'll try and record the second one. It was a bit juddery on the first one, wasn't it? And it felt like it didn't really warm up. I think that was fuel starvation. So let's see if it seems a bit better on this one. Also, I found the adjuster while under there. The actual adjuster is here. Can you see it? Where is it? It is, there it is, right there. That adjusts the revs, so we won't be stalling anymore, thank God. So not a bad day's work, considering I wasn't meant to be doing any work today. So after all the fuel work, let's take this bike out. Let's see how it does. Beforehand it was a bit stuttery, a bit, you know, it almost felt like it was on 3 cylinders. So it should feel smoother now. It should have more instant throttle. Let's have a look. temperature, it will get even better when it's fully up to temp. Idle's a bit better. I've raised the idle a touch. We're at like 1500. I can lower it a bit too. That's more like it. That's instant throttle. Very pleased with that. I need to lower the revs a little if I can find it, but very pleased. That was a great run. The bike feels amazing. I'm very pleased with that that run we did there. It's such a strong bike actually. They're really powerful engines. Also it's more usable, like a lot of the modern 1000cc's. They're not that usable. I like to be able to rev a bike, and you can rev this and really play with the revs in each gear, and you can really feel what a powerful engine is. My mate's R1, you just can't rev it. It's way too quick. So if you wanna get your foot into the 1000cc door, Thunderace is such a good bike. It's good for long distances. It's got a lot of torque. It's got a lot of power. And yeah, and this one's it's getting better every time. I think the sticker set, the panels aren't too bad. Now it's fueling properly. Definitely I can feel that. We've cleaned the air filter, the oil's fresh in it, so it really is a nice bike in the long run. It's going to get an MOT sometime this week or next week. Well, I say it's going to get an MOT. I'm going to attempt to get its MOT, and in maybe 2 weeks time or a bit longer, the logbook will be here, and someone's going to have a really cheap 1000cc bike that's in good condition now, because the brakes have been done and the oil's fresh, the air filter's clean, the fuel system's looked at, and so on. So yeah, really good bikes these are.